Just hello. Welcome to the Hallie Quinn Show, where we show up live every single week to discuss topics, all areas related to the self-love journey, to the healing journey, transformation, personal growth, all of that. And I'm burping. Today, we were talking about flow. Flow came up with you, and then you had us do this meditation. If you guys are interested, the link is up there for our weekly meditation sessions. And then also this month, we're working with our hearts. Talking about a heart filter. What is that? Click the link above. You can read all about it. Anyways, we're here to talk about when you grow, you flow.
When you flow, you grow. Growing is flowing, and flowing is growing.
Yes. And we would like to talk about this because, it can bring awareness to what's actually not in your flow, not good for your flow. And what can you do to have more flow? Because let's be real, like when I think about my own flow every day, there are definitely things that pull me away from my flow. There's definitely things that add more stress in my flow. And a lot of times it's my own shit that could also be in the way of my flow because I have pains. So I just have this visual of the river because it's just always flowing. And sometimes there's like a big rock or a big dam that is kind of like not allowing you to flow. So yeah, we're going to bring this conversation to light and bring all kinds of perspectives in here. Hi Lisa, hi George. So Hallie, what comes up for you when you think about like through your growth journey, you're seeing flow, and then just this idea of flowing, that leads you to more growth. So
yeah.
There's two kind of sides or perspectives of play of this, right? Growing and then flowing. And then when you're in your flow state, you continue to grow. It brings more growth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about flow that I think is like kind of my like investigation and experiment with it right now is like you were saying, Quinn, that there are things that support your flow, there are things that obstruct your flow, right?
For
so
sure.
To be conscientious of like what's supporting your flow and what is not supporting your flow, and doing the work to release those things, those relationships, those ideas, that are blocking the flow, like that's really good work. But the other thing about flow is it's like flow is not necessarily about being in control, It's like about riding the wave that you're on and like flowing with what life brings you. And so this has been my meditation on flow lately is, yes, I can do this like intentional work of clearing obstructions, and also though ultimately, like to be in flow is to surrender control. And so then there's something too about just allowing things to be as they are.
Yes, yeah. I'm hearing acceptance in that, which is a process.
Yeah.
And I am also hearing like, when I think about my life and how I flow, there's definitely things that I'm able to kind of like accept pretty quickly because of my healing journey and things like that. Definitely I've had to accept some things about myself so that I can continue to move on and do my growth journey. And when you talk about like not having control, I think about like not being stressed over things that I cannot control, so therefore it does not hold power over me.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's almost like I accept, and when things come I'm like, okay, it's okay. So there's a lot of I just think about there's a lot of love that can be experienced when you're in your flow state, so that when things happen, even if you don't agree with it, you're not allowing that to take away from your flow. You're still able to flow. So it's like this idea of like when you flow, well, how do you even like feel that you're in the flow? Don't you feel good? Isn't there something that you did in your day that's allowing you to flow? And with that practice or whatever it is that you're doing that you feel like, oh wow, I'm doing pretty good, you're able to kind of like roll off these things that usually trigger you, kind of like you're releasing it with like love, you're accepting, you're releasing with love, and you're continuing on with your flow. So that's what's coming up for me when
Yeah.
you talk about like not feeling like you need to have control.
Well, but I also think that part of being in flow is being in flow with the whole spectrum of emotion. So sometimes you have to be in flow with your sadness.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes you have to be in flow with like your heartache or with your disappointment, or you know, like even there's even flow in the hard, right? Because that's what helps you move all the way through it. And I think that when we're trying so hard to control ourselves from having to be sad or be heartbroken or be hurt, you know, that itself is a block to flow.
I agree. I would say I would agree, because I just think about the moments where you feel those emotions and then like you're being kind of forced, depending on your environment, who you're around. Like I've been told to like shut up and like be quiet, go somewhere else with that. So like that blocked my flow, because I knew that I would like to release it. I mean, it's so much.
Yeah.
So flowing can look like tears, which is a release. And now I'm able to go on throughout my day, because I've noticed now when I need to cry, I will just let it out, flow out of me.
Nice. Yeah.
And now there's space.
Well,
I can see what's going on. I just released my emotions in a healthy way, and it cleared up more space for me to take a look at my situation and actually take lessons from it, accept it, and actually apply that into my life. And that's when we grow on. We flow with our grow. We grow. We grow, however you guys want to say it, okay? I was allowing myself to flow, to grow in that predicament. Yeah. And with my growth, my continuous growth, it allows me to continue on with my flow, you know, and especially when there's heavy emotions coming up.
Especially, I think that like one of the most, like, I've just lately have encountered circumstances where like I've been faced with something that was not what I wanted, not what I wanted to see, not what I wanted to hear, not what I wanted to experience, but that was what I was faced with. And so to reject it or to deny it or to try and like not see it or face it is a block to the flow. But to say like, okay, I don't love this, but I accept it, you know, like that's the way to stay in flow for like other regions of your life.
Yeah, and what I'm hearing through that is even allowing what's coming up with that, the thing that you're experiencing that you don't like. Like, what does this say about my healing journey? What does it say about my past? What does it say about my, why am I not liking this or whatnot? And then you're letting that come out. And that's growth.
Yeah.
I was just saying before this live, I'm like, man, when we allow to grow, to have flow in our lives, that's strength.
It is.
There's strength in that, you know. And I don't know what your guys' perspective is when you hear flow. Kind of like, oh, carefree, who cares? But there's the growth, the flow that we're talking about is actually like the growth, the strength it takes to have discipline, to catch yourself and allow yourself to actually get very vulnerable with yourself, letting that be so real and be released in a healthy way, so that you can see the situation for what it is and continue to grow and flow on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Grow and flow on.
Grow and flow on. You know?
Give your emotions the space to be felt. That's flow.
That's flow. And a lot of times it might be really tough doing it by yourself. And so perhaps there's like communities or groups or coaches or support or counselors or therapists that can, you know, help you enhance your flow or kind of like help you go through that process, because it's definitely not easy, especially when we have been shunned away from feeling our emotions. You know, since you brought that up, because that is, emotions is such it's a heavy one.
It is.
It's a big one.
The great way that I've heard emotions talked about is emotions, energy in motion. Emotions are here to flow, right? Flow is about movement, right? And so emotions are about movement, and they move by being felt. It's the only way they move. If they're not being felt, then they create those obstructions, those logs, those dams in the river and then your flow gets blocked in all other areas of your life, you know? So flow is really about feeling.
Yeah.
Coming to this conclusion.
Right, right. Feeling, because you got to feel it to grow, man.
Feel it to heal it.
Feel it to heal it, feel it to see it, feel it to acknowledge it, feel it to be compassionate towards it. Yeah. So there you go, you guys. Grow to flow, flow to grow. And you know, when we say yes to the growth journey, right, to this growth flow journey, we have to really see where our heart is at, so that we don't, you know, allow people or factors to come in to kind of like take advantage of that heart. And take a look at when you know how to really identify letting someone or that thing in, because you're recognizing that, oh, this is actually going to help me heal. This is going to enhance my journey. It's going to, so that's why we're hosting that workshop. Heart Filter, November 17th, 6:30, at 6:30. So if you have any questions, let us know. And then if you'd like to join in one of our meditations, that's every week. Yeah, it's all linked up there. Thank you guys for joining us on our lovely talk. We hope that you continue on with your growth so that you can flow, because when you flow, you are growing into this beautiful tree or this beautiful flower, this beautiful plant, and you can experience all the things that you desire, or that you know that's healthy for you, like happiness, peace, joy, fun, silliness. Any last words, my dear? About this flow journey and this growth journey of yours?
Nah, I guess one last thing is on the tears thing.
Yeah.
Back to the tears, like,
yeah.
You know, flow is water. Like, water is what shows us flow. Water teaches us about flow. And so when we do give ourselves the space to cry, it's like lately I've been talking to all these people and I'm like, when was the last time you cried? And they're like, I'm not really a crier. And I'm like, what? Those tears flowing. Flow those tears.
Flow those tears. Are you blocking them?
I'm a promoter of the tear flow.
Yeah, from personal experience. Same. Alrighty, guys.
Alrighty.
Much love. We will see you guys when we see you guys. We'll see you later. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.